Hey everybody, Alex the Critic here, and welcome to another installment of Your Theme Song Sucks.
I'm a scat man.
The last two cartoons that I covered on this show were ones that I had never seen before. Today's episode is going to be a little different, however, because not only have I seen this cartoon before, but I actually used to be a really big fan of it. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the latest target of my theme song riffing, the Nickelodeon show Robot and Monster.
Ah yes, Robot and Monster. I have pretty fond memories of this cartoon. My younger brother and I used to watch it every weekend morning on Nicktoons when we were little. While we both thought that it was a hilarious show, a big reason why I enjoyed it so much was because one of the main characters, Robot, was voiced by Curtis Armstrong, the same voice actor who starred as the titular character Dan from one of my all-time favorite cartoons, Dan Versus.
Marv!
Where are you, little fella?
Come on out!
Where could you be?
Marv.
Gosh, it's like he somehow knows he's going to get shots at the vet.
What does he know? He's a block of steel.
Last chance before I debone you. What are you doing in our living room?
I told you already. I can't sleep. They keep calling me.
Who does?
Telemarketers. It's like you don't even listen.
Having Curtis Armstrong play one of the main characters was enough to get me hooked on Robot and Monster, and I watched it as often as I could. Over time though, I became less and less interested in the cartoon to the point where I stopped watching it altogether. I couldn't exactly pinpoint why I dropped the show. Maybe it was because I got drawn to other shows, or it just stopped being aired as often as it was on Nicktoons. I don't know. Point is, while I was once a huge fan of Robot and Monster, I haven't seen it in years, outside of a few clips I'd watch here and there for nostalgia's sake, so I couldn't tell you if it's a good show or not.
Luckily, you don't need to have watched the show in order to tell if its theme song is good or bad, and oh lord does Robot and Monster have an awful theme song. I've actually been meaning to cover this cartoon's opening for ages, because even as a kid, I thought that it was terrible. For some reason though, I never got around to doing it. That ends today. Let's get this party started. Alright, I've got a lot of shit to cover, so let's speed through each and every single thing wrong with this opening so far. First of all, I'm not a big fan of the singer's vocals, nor the melody of the song itself. The singer is just shouting into the microphone rather than actually trying to sing anything, and the instrumental itself is so generic and bland. This sounds like the kind of song that would be provided to you as a sample on an audio editing program like FL Studio, not one that you would use for your actual show. There's nothing that distinguishes the Robot and Monster theme from any other basic kid show tune.
Second of all, the lyrics are incredibly simplistic. That wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing in and of itself, but what makes them a problem is that they often have nothing to do with what's being presented on screen. To the opening's credit, the lyrics do mention a few things about the show, but unfortunately the audience isn't given any context for those things. Take the first few verses for example.
As somebody who's seen the show, I know that Evil Gart refers to Robot's brother Gart, who, as far as I remember, is a jackass who constantly harasses Robot. I also know that Bacon Fights refers to Robot and Monster both having an obsession over bacon that constantly gets them in trouble throughout the show. However, if this were my first time watching Robot and Monster, I would have no idea what any of these lyrics are referring to because the visuals don't line up with the vocals.
For starters, Gart doesn't appear at all in this opening, so how is any newcomer supposed to know who the singer is referring to? Is this guy Gart? Who the fuck is Gart? Why would you mention him in the opening if you aren't gonna show him at all?
What makes Gart's absence even more egregious is that the theme song references two other side characters, Ogo and Marth, who each appear when their names are dropped. So what, you had Ogo and Marth in the opening, but not Gart? What kind of fucking sense does that make?
Also, I ain't seeing no fucking bacon fights. All I see are Robot and Monster happily eating bacon together before we transition to a scene of them dodging falling debris. This is such an easy little detail to fix. Just have Robot and Monster shoving one another while they're running towards the plate of bacon or something. How hard is it to have the lyrics correlate to the animation?
For the love of God, what the hell do blinking lights have to do with the show? I swear this theme song was written by a 3rd grader.
Marv.
So not only did you just shout onomatopoeias at me in lieu of actual lyrics, but you then repeated the name of the show to me a couple more times just to make sure that I know what I'm watching. That's fantastic. That's just great. I couldn't think of a better way to close out an opening. And just to be clear, I'm not asking for Grammy Award winning songwriting here. I just want something that doesn't sound like it was shit out after 5 minutes.
So that was the Robot and Monster opening. This one is a definite contender for the worst theme song ever. I'm not sure if I'd put it above the Adventures of Kid Danger opening, but it's absolutely in my bottom 5. The singer's voice is annoying, the lyrics are simplistic, the animation, while not terrible, is incredibly basic in the way that only low-budget CGI cartoons can be, and the actual instrumental is uninspired.
The only compliment that I can pay this theme song is that it does explain what the show is about, but as I've said before on this series, that is such an incredibly low bar to clear that it's not really worth celebrating. I may have loved the show itself when I was a kid, but this theme song sucks.
And why in the hell are the main characters named Robot and Monster? All of the other characters on this show are given regular names, so why aren't our protagonists? That shit is stupid.
I'm Alex the Critic, and next time on Your Theme Song Sucks, I'll be covering one of the requests I got from a commentator on the previous episode. I'll see you guys then.